northern part of this country seem to have woken up to the reality of times, with the increasing scourge of Almajiri children on the streets. While some states are taking steps towards banning all forms of street begging, others are enforcing enrollment in schools. On the program today, we shall be looking at the security implications of the Almajiri trend, plus the involvement of international NGOs in furthering the crisis in northeast Nigeria. This and more on this edition of Security Dossier, only on Television Nigerian. I am Lawrence Audu. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, has assured that insecurity in Nigeria will soon become a thing of the past. General Buratai gave the assurance while on an inspection tour of the Nigerian Army Vehicle Manufacturing Plant in Kaduna, where light tactical infantry combat vehicles were being produced. The Civil Delivering Plant, in conjunction with the Defense Industries Corporation, also produce weapons for the military and other security agencies.
I know everybody is concerned about the insecurity, but unfortunately over the years, since 60s, we've not made any serious headway. Local defense production. And I think if this one takes off as we envisage, we'll no longer cry for any insecurity.
Already, the company is poised to mass produce vehicles for civilians in order to boost the GDP of the country. Lawrence Audu, TVN News. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, says women in the Nigerian Army will continue to enjoy greater roles in accordance to their capacity. General Buratai said this when a delegation of the Abuja chapter of Nigerian Association of Women Journalists, NAWOJ, led by Comrade Stella Oku Esene, paid him a courtesy call at the Army headquarters in Abuja.
This rise have remained sacrosanct, have remained part and parcel of the Nigerian Army's focus in all our operations and all our general administration. We have realized the importance of the women in the Army a long time ago, but now we are putting them into their proper perspective or proper role, which so far, since the establishment of the Nigerian Army Women's School, as we've been told, they have participated in virtually all the roles being performed by men. They actively participated in show of force, in election security, and they participated in Harbin Binama, Crocodile Smile, and indeed even Operation Lafayette Dole. They have actively participated.
General Buratai noted that women in the Nigerian Army have continued to put in their best and assured that they will continue to have commensurate opportunities to excel in their career. In her remarks, the NAWOJ president said the visit is in commemoration of this year's International Women's Day and urged the Nigerian Army and the Chief of Army Staff to include more women in positions of responsibility.
Nigerian women are asking for equality, equity, development and peace. We know we are not where we ought to be in terms of security, but I make it bold to say we are not where we used to be. We acknowledge your role in paving way for the inclusion of more women in the military, and we acknowledge the way you have remained undaunted in the face of challenges as we continue to rule our strategy to defeating our common enemy.
The Almajiri scourge in northern Nigeria and its security implications will be our focus today on Security Dossier. In an exclusive interview with the President Coalition for Nigerian Movement, Mr. Sabo Ode, he bears his mind. Recently, the entire northern region seemed to have woken up somehow, grappling with the reality of times as regards the Almajiri system.
It's important that they do that. Very, very key. For us at the coalition, we had set up think tanks to understudy the Almajiri phenomenon. And we are about coming up with what we found out. And suddenly, we started hearing reactions from the Emir of Kano, Royal Highness Sanusi, and then majorly from the governor. And we think, at the coalition, we think that this is the right move in the right direction.
The Almajiri system in itself, some argue that it's Islamic, and recently scholars are coming to say, no, there's nothing Islamic. I know you're not a Muslim, but you have lived all your life in northern Nigeria. Most of your life in northern Nigeria. What is this Almajiri system and what are the security implications?
There's several meanings to, if you want to put it, to the person who is confronted with Almajiris. It's a system where people who are considered of low background or orphans are given some kind of education, Islamic education. But then we have witnessed that that core value that the Almajiri system was supposed to offer to the people who are intended to get it has been manipulated.
How?
Manipulated to the fact that it has come to a point where it's hurting the total system in Nigeria. There's no place in Nigeria that you don't find Almajiris now. If you go to Lagos, if you go to Port Harcourt, you see people who are begging on the street. And you can identify that they are of northern extraction. Frankly, if you look at the security implications of it, Boko Haram is an offshoot of the Almajiri phenomenon. Mohammed, the man who was killed by the police, purportedly killed or allegedly killed, and from who the issue of Boko Haram started, was somebody who had an Almajiri school and had followers. And as soon as these followers who were Almajiris or purported to be Almajiris knew that they had been killed, they disagreed with the system. That's the disagreement that we are seeing up till now. That is Boko Haram. Some other people have also gone into the Almajiri system to make money. Some people have made it business where they send people to beg and come back to a collection point. You send 100 young men onto the street. You give them the percentage to take for themselves. The other part of the percentage comes to you, who is their caretaker or gatekeeper. So we know that the Almajiris have been manipulated, the system has been manipulated, and it's coming to hurt us now.
Strong voices have been heard recently. Some strictly in support of the system, while others are saying no, abolish this thing. And
I was born in Kano, and for some of our brothers from North, the Northern extraction, for them it's going to be total shame to say that you want to abolish Almajiri, the Almajiri system. You will find out some of them who are arguing for the retainership of Almajiri system. But for some of us, we think that the danger to it is more than the goods of it. the disadvantages of the Almajiri is more than the advantages. Because you find children, underage children, roaming the streets, no education. Even when they go into the Almajiri school, the intention is to go beg. And they become beggars from that little age. We know the hardship that we're experiencing, and that hardship extends to them. And because of that, in recent times, most of them have decided to go for the kill, to go make big money. They feel that being a militant or a terrorist can make more money for you, and all these things are aligned to the Islamic system. You have this alienation there. So we think that if we want to, because there are a lot of causes, there are a lot of ills going on in this country, if it's possible. It's a system, it's a traditional system with them. If it's possible, because the dangers now override the goods. It's much more.
Abolishing the system, don't you think there's going to be a backlash in the sense that the malams, the teachers, would instigate these children who already, most of them are violent prone?
You see, let me guide you here. You say backlash. Those are violent actions. Backlashes come from violent actions. We know that these young men now are primed. They are primed. In fact, like you said earlier, I do not know the inner workings of the Almajiri phenomenon. All right. But from the outside, we know that these young men who don't get any kind of care except to go on the street, eat on the street, sleep on the street, are primed to unleash, if you want to call it, evil. They are primed. They're there. We all know that they are primed to unleash evil, unleash terror, unleash violence. So why don't you abolish it? If there was going to be a way to abolish the Almajiri system, I think we will all support it. Now, number two, we are all Nigerians. I do not wish for my children to go to school and see other people's children begging on the street. It makes me very uncomfortable. Very, very uncomfortable. If you go down to the south, the Almajiris are considered to, you don't touch them, you don't talk to them, you don't relate with them. Yet we call ourselves Nigerians. And I feel that we should be able to tolerate ourselves, to like ourselves, intermarry with ourselves, go to school together, and rule or lead Nigeria together.
Welcome back. I hope you're having a great time watching the program today. You're still watching Security Dossier. And going forward, how have the international NGOs impacted on the war against insurgency in northeast Nigeria? In this exclusive interview with the Executive Secretary of the Center for African Liberation and Socioeconomic Rights, CALSA, Princess Ajibola, who exposed the hidden agenda of some of the groups working in northern Nigeria. You have been in the forefront supporting the Nigerian military and its efforts prosecuting the war against insurgency and all other sundry issues attached. How would you judge the efforts of the Nigerian military for the war on insurgency in terms of successes in the last 4 years?
The Nigerian military has given it its best, and they are still giving it their best. Unfortunately for us, Nigerians and the military, the external influence, the people who do not want to see Nigeria stable, have been consistently sabotaging all their efforts. And to me, in one of my outings a few months back, we were able to come up with statistics of how one of these European countries is is championing the cause of the Boko Haram people or the Boko Haram terrorist group in Nigeria by supplying them food, arms, ammunition, medicals, and in the guise of humanitarian services. They have also been championing the cause of the Boko Haram terrorist group in terms of claiming that, that they have a right to life even when they are taking lives in droves. And therefore, when you have that playing itself out in a situation like Nigeria, would you now want to tell me that the military is not doing their best? Of course they are doing their best. Give and take. But suffice to say that because of this influence, this international influence, and with the assistance of some of our brothers who are feeding fat and lining their deep pockets with the proceeds of these, you find that it's not so easy for the military because they have Nigerians to contend with, they have the international forces to contend with. But give and take, the Nigerian military, they're really trying, and they've tried. They have recaptured 16 local governments that were either in the hands of the Boko Haram terrorist group. They have destabilized their camp, the Sambisa Forest, the Camp Zero. They have reunited some families back, and they are still doing so, and they are still at war, making sure that the era of Boko Haram terrorism is long gone in the northeast region. I think they deserve our commendation.
Recently, you led a protest march to the French embassy, where your organization accused the French government, French people, NGOs affiliated to France of doing little or nothing. In fact, you accused France of being responsible for it.
But isn't it a fact?
So how did you arrive at this?
How did we arrive at this? We came out with statistics. We came out with information that up until now it's not been refuted by the French government. We came out with the reason why they are doing that. We came out with the fact that they take a lot of money from Africa and turn around to arm pockets of Africans to go against one another. We don't manufacture arms in Africa, or in Nigeria especially. Let me talk about my own country, Nigeria. We don't manufacture guns, we don't manufacture arms, we don't manufacture bullets. But we see these people using guns and bullets, killing our brothers and our sisters. They go into a village and they wipe out the whole place. Okay, where did they get the funding from? And of course, even the people of that area, from time to time, have cried out that they see droplets of people supplying arms and ammunition to the Boko Haram terrorist group. Have you wondered how they have sustained this fight till now? Any wonder why or how? You need money to execute all these things. You need money to buy equipment. You need money to buy the arms. You need money to buy the ammunition. You need money to carry out surveillance. You need money to go in and out. And so it is a proven fact. It is a fact that has not been refuted. And if it's been refuted, we're yet to be told that it's been refuted by the French government, that they are in support of the terrorist group in Nigeria. They give them arms, they give them clothes, they give them everything. They support them with logistics. They support them and they provide them with information. Or else, please, for crying out loud, how would the military be going on an attack and the Boko Haram will have the information to go and relay them on their way to rescuing Nigerians?
You know, some time ago, the Nigerian military sealed the facilities of some multinational NGOs working in the northeast of Nigeria. And they even accused the majority of them, Action Against Hunger was one of them.
Yes.
And they said, these guys are funding and providing logistics to the insurgents. Again, we saw a situation where some NGOs have paid their rent for their facilities and accommodation upward of 10 years.
Why?
Well, we should be talking about it.
Why do you want to pay upward of 10 years. What do you want to achieve? As a matter of fact, if you live in a particular house for 10 years, you should be getting bored. Unless you have ulterior motive. Unless you have an aim, not to build but to destroy. Why would you want to do that? Those are the things we should be looking at. Those are the questions we should be asking. And are we, even if when we ask, do we get the commiserate answers? The answer is no. What is their aim? What is the main interest in Nigeria? Do they want to bring to pass that, yes, we have said it, and so it must be so? No, Nigeria will never break up. We're Nigerians, for crying out loud. We're great people. We're civilized people. Wherever you find Nigerians doing exploits all over the world. And I don't think that is going down well with the Western world.
The Borno State government announced that over 1,400 repentant, de-radicalized Boko Haram insurgents have been reintegrated into their communities. How do you feel about this? Because Nigerians are actually agitating.
Yes. Would you now say that because they have been on the other side of the divide, they're no longer human beings? They still are. What should be done now is a thorough rehabilitation, a thorough reorientation. And by the way, these ones, the over 1,000 plus ex-Boko Haram people, they have information that might just be so useful.
But releasing them into the society.
That's what I'm saying, that they should go through the process. It's a process. You just don't pick them and drop them into the society. Because again, they can be picked. But you can pick them up. It's a reorientation, total rehabilitation. It's a process of counseling and getting them positively engaged. You just don't pick people from a point of where they are used to massive destruction and release them into the society. They are like a time bomb, still waiting to explode at the slightest provocation. So what I will suggest, and humbly at that, is to get the government. Yes, it is a process. It's going to be an enduring process, but at the end, the process will pay itself. Because whether we like it or not, these ones are still our children. They're still Nigerians. You don't throw the bathwater with the baby. You still can cleanse them, reorganize their thinking, to think right, that their life has meaning and has value. Because the first thing is that these people are thoroughly brainwashed into not seeing themselves as being important to the society. Or else, why would you want to think that you should go and die? And the person who is telling you to go and die is living. It doesn't make sense. So you must take them through the route of counseling and recounseling, orientation and reorientation, and then a total rehabilitation before you integrate them into the society. You don't cast them out, and you don't release them just like that into the society. And I think in that wise, the governor needs the collective assistance and support of other well-meaning Nigerians.
Welcome back. You're still watching Security Dossier on Television Nigerian. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all our social media handles. Nigeria remains the only country we can call our own. We must do everything within our powers to safeguard her sovereignty. And this is where we draw the curtains on the program today. Until we come your way again with another exciting edition of Security Dossier, I am Lawrence Audu. Bye for now.